Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris is a news presentation of KULR 8.
Very good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris. Greg Lamont, Chris Byers, and Chris, here it is getting toward the end of November and still sunshine. Don't have to wear a big heavy jacket. It's all right.
It's nice out.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hey, we saw a story last week shot by Levi Adams, who's shooting this right now, about HeliProz. And HeliProz is a manufacturer of remote-controlled helicopters. And you can do all kinds of crazy things with these things. And after we saw what we saw last week, we said, we got to get down there and do a little boy toy kind of story.
Well, they got some, I've heard that they got some stuff for the boys, and then they got some big boy toys in there too, and I can't wait to see those.
All right. Well, we're going to go in and talk to Kurt, and come on in and check it out, folks. Here we go. Kurt Krieger.
Yes. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Nice
Good.
to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet
How
you
are you
too.
today?
Wonderful.
You
And
hear
yourself?
that expression, kid in the candy store?
Yeah.
We're here, right?
Yeah.
This is the boy
normally,
toy.
normally we have a sign up here that says your wife called and it's okay to be here.
Tell us, you said you've been here 14 years.
14 years.
How'd this start?
Eric Hawkinson, the original owner, was frustrated because whenever he'd want to buy stuff for his helicopter that he's crashed, because that's what they do, it was 4 or 5 different locations, and so you have all these shipping costs that are starting to accumulate, and he decided we can do better than that. So he decided to open up a store that we kind of call our one-stop shop, so people can call here and they can get tech support, the other cool part. So it's it just blossomed from there.
We should be clear that this is not a hobby store. This is a retail built from the ground up, warehouse, the whole bit, right?
Yep. We start from concept to retail. So we've got manufacturing, we've got all of our marketing, whole thing under one building. It's all under what we call the FlyCo company. So it's a one-stop shop for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about how the business has expanded. I mean, you're all over the world, right?
We are all over the world. The expansion came, I think, because a lot of places are losing their flying fields. So the benefit to a helicopter is we don't need a runway. We can fly wherever we want. And the electronics, the reliability of the helicopters, it's just been a huge forward step in everything because they're so much easier to fly now than they originally were. You'd tell anybody about a helicopter before and it's like, yeah, I've seen one of those, but they never fly. They're always falling apart. Not so much the case anymore. So it's opened it more to a better market. It used to be your disposable income used to have to be like, yeah, I'm no problem spending $2,000 or $3,000. Well, now you can get into it for a couple $100s. So that is, I think, the biggest thing is the affordability of it.
And there's so much to this. I mean, you were saying from the $80 ones all the way up to $30,000.
Exactly. HD
cameras mounted on them. Are you seeing people that use these for more than just going out in your backyard and flying them around?
Oh, absolutely. It's it's kind of the revolution right now. It's with the small, I guess, the GoPros and all the small HD cameras. Everyone sees themselves as an aerial photographer, and it makes it very easy to be able to strap something on there. So it's pretty easy to turn this into from a hobby into a business, and there's nothing wrong with getting paid for flying.
Kurt, would you say that your business has gotten a boost from the publicity that the drone program of the United States?
The drone word. It has. But it's twofold because there's a lot of people that the D word it's bad connotation to them, and so they get their they're thinking bad stuff when there's so many good things that it can do. Fortunately, it is a pretty good offset from the people that are thinking it's bad. So it brought forth. Same thing we were talking about helicopters, how expensive they were. When you were getting into the multi-rotor stuff, you were into those things anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. Heck, now for $1,200, you have a full setup, HD camera, the whole thing, ready to fly. So yeah, it has been a big boost because it's pushing all the manufacturers to bring the prices down, just because there is such a huge interest in it right now.
And you were saying you can go way beyond line of sight with goggles and monitors.
You can, yeah.
It's like, as you mentioned, it's like actually sitting there and flying.
Yeah, we have multiple full-scale pilots that They love it. They said that is as close as they can be to flying and keeping their feet on the ground, because it's a complete immersion. When you have your goggles on, you're in it. I mean, we'll do it here. We got a couple employees that don't like to put the goggles on because it gets you a little bit nauseous. You'll sit there and you're flying and you're moving your head and you're wiggling all around because you're following. I mean, it is very, very neat feeling.
Well, have you had any guys with black trench coats coming in here to see what you're up to?
Yeah, no, no, we have not. It would be interesting because then we know we're making a little bit of a footprint in the stink.
Well, tell us, like, for instance, this one right here. I mean, you know, when Byers and I walked in here, I mean,
first thing we looked
at and went, now that is like...
It is an eye catcher, isn't it? Yep, exactly. It's an eye catcher. And this is one that we produce here in the shop. It's a miniature aircraft brand. This is an electric version. It falls under, there's sizing for them. There's 300 size, 4, 5, 6, and 700 size, and it's usually by the size of the blades. And this one is a 700 size. So this is our flagship. It is available in a nitro machine, a gasoline. Actually runs like a Husqvarna weed whacker motor in it. And cost anywhere from probably $2,000 to $3,000. And that depends on the electronics. I mean, it depends on your motors, your servos, and all the flight controls that are put into it. You can actually put automation system in these things. So you can push a button, they will take off, they'll fly to where you want them to, or you can just add stabilization to them. So if you've got a camera on there and you want to concentrate on flying, you can take it up, flip a switch, GPS lock, it'll just sit there, and then you can concentrate on getting your shot. So it's...
Kurt, outside of the United States, what would be your #1 country?
England.
You know, folks interested in these.
Yes. Yep. Yep. A lot of equipment sent over there.
This little guy.
And I guess we can't forget this, all the troops over there. That's the cool part. We get a lot of stuff that we're sending out to APO boxes.
This little guy here you said is ideal to learn on.
It is.
And it's because of the dual blade.
Yep.
Explain why it makes it so much easier.
It's coaxial, so each one of these they're always fighting each other's torque. So it doesn't need a tail rotor on it because it's always going to stay, the yaw is 0 on them. And since it's a 2-rotor system, it always wants to stay stable. Almost all helis are always wanting to, it's called falling off the ball. They're just always on this bubble of air. This one just wants to sit stable, and nice part. It's under $100. And the other part is we have all the parts for it. That's one of our things here, is if we're going to sell something, we're going to have parts for it.
Helicopters aren't really meant to fly anyway, are they?
They're not. No, you are forcing them to fly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I've heard the adage that it's almost impossible to keep an airplane on the ground.
Yes.
Because it wants to fly because of its pulling up.
Exactly. You got the lift on.
Helicopters are a little different, aren't they?
The gravity always wins on a helicopter. It's just you're controlling that descent. That's the key to it.
How many choppers do you suppose you've crashed in your life?
Holy cow. Probably only 30. But probably 50 on each one of those 30 models, 50 times crashing.
Now, a person who walks in here and says, man, that is state of the art, this is what I want, it's $3,000. A person who buys one of these, they've probably been doing this stuff with some smaller models before that, right?
We're hoping. If they're not, right behind you is a simulator, and if they have 0 experience, that thing is awesome for being able to learn what all the stick movements do. If you press the red button there, it'll just reset that for you. A quick reset, otherwise it goes into a replay mode.
Here we go.
There you go.
Okay, I'm up.
All right, let's see how long
I'm up on the ground. I'm going up. Now I'm going to go, whoa, and I crashed.
Yep. So there's your actual first flight on a big model. But the nice part about it is, instead of reaching in your wallet and getting your credit card out, you press the little red button on there, and you've got a new model again. So that's pretty cool.
Now I want to keep the nose pointed away from
Pointed away from you. Yep, that's called tail in flying. That way you're...
Now I'm going to go forward.
Yeah, and you're kind of high up there, so you need to come down, because what happens is you're up there so high, it's hard to tell that you are upside down right there.
I'm
And
going to just crash behind some warehouse.
Yeah.
No, it's just a hard landing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm going to try this one more time. Now to keep it in one spot...
You're always want to counteract, so if it's moving to the right, you give it a little bit of a left. So you're always counteracting the direction that it's moving.
I want to come down.
Down just a little bit, and you need to give it just a little bit of right and a little bit of forward. A little more forward. Bring that stick down just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
You got some eagles attacking you up there. And,
Okay.
there you go.
There we go.
A little less on the collective here, and it'll bring it down a little bit. Oh, now you hit the tail. So now your nose in, so everything's backwards. Nice part is there, you crashed a couple times. That was probably at least $300 to $400 in crash. It didn't cost you a penny. All you did hit the reset button.
And it's fun.
It is. It's a blast.
It's like a video game.
The other cool part is you can, if there's multiple people with them, you can get online and you can have your own online fun fly. So you can call you up. I'm going to be at this location. You can both get on there and fly. You can even do dog fights and shoot missiles. Yeah, it's crazy. All kind of fun stuff you can do with it.
Well, I'm excited to go back into the back room and see how you guys do what you do. But
Yep.
first, we need to take a break, and folks, we will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, and now we're into the area where the genius all comes together, right?
The fun stuff. Definitely the fun stuff.
Tell us about this warehouse. I mean, you know, I see choppers over here, parts everywhere.
Yep. For the
It's a parts warehouse as
It
well
is.
as...
It is. It's parts warehouse and inventory overflow. So on the retail side, in the mornings when we download our orders, everything is by bins, aisles, and shelves, so we can pull it out, hand it. We could hand it to you in the morning. We could pull orders. So pretty much that side is all retail, and then when they're machining on this side and parts are being assembled and cut and then getting ready for what we call kitting, getting ready to build the kits, the surplus will go over there so that they can go through and they can have an on-demand inventory so they can see exactly what they have so they know what to order. Kind of doing the old just-in-time system.
So you can, people buy the kits and they get started, then they, when they need parts, they get them here.
Absolutely.
If they want a different kit, they get it here.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the whole from A to Z.
It is, and the cool part is that we purchased the company about 6-7 years ago. It was originally started in Florida, so they've been making kits since the mid-70s. We're probably the only manufacturer. We still support those kits. So if somebody calls and they need a part for that kit, we can still make it. So that's really unheard of in this industry.
I assume that one of the folks you sell to are hobby stores, right?
We do, yes. Yep. One of the businesses in there is called Heli Wholesaler. So they deal with other retail shops.
What about box stores? I mean, have you ever tried to get your products into like a Walmart or a Kmart or Toys R Us or?
We've looked into it. They place a huge demand on the supplier.
Right.
You're going to take a huge cut.
Right.
I wish there was that kind of margin in this business to be able
Yeah.
to do that. And the companies that there's a lot of China stuff that can get in there. That
Sure.
There's that margin built into it.
Well, and to me, that like your products, are kind of like made from scratch. If you reference a baker,
Yep.
as a box, just something out of a box. I mean, this is something that you actually put together,
Correct.
piece by piece. So this isn't a cheap toy.
Exactly.
That you're dealing with.
The cool part is, so we get the metal truck that shows up. We load all the metal up onto the racks over here, and it turns in from all this round and square steel over here. It gets chopped up, brought over here, and then it gets assembled. Then it gets put in boxes, and it's just a cool process.
Now, is this a made-to-order business, or
We're starting to do that.
Do you say we're going to produce this many helicopters this year?
Yes, yeah, but we're starting to do that, and it's kind of more of the just-in-time thing, but also on the made-to-order thing. Now we're starting to offer them in different colors. Somebody wants a pink helicopter, we'll make them a pink helicopter. It's the whatever color of the rainbow they want on there. So we're starting to do custom helicopters because there's probably 12 different models out there, and it's a helicopter. They all kind of look the same, so they have different color schemes and things like that. So if two people have that same helicopter, well, now it can be in different colors. So everyone likes to customize, bling them up a little bit. So we're going to allow them to do that.
Can you tell us what these machines are all about over here?
Absolutely. We're CNC machines, which stands for computer numeric control. Basically, we have our designer and our machinist, Kyle, which is standing over there. He will program, he'll build the part in a software program, a 3D software program. He'll take that part, visually make sure it works, make all the measurements. If there are two parts that need to fit together, you can test to make sure they fit together, interference fits, and then it goes into another program that turns it into machine code. So the machine code then tells these machines what to do. So you got your little thumb drive, so you bring that out here, load this up, and then the parts will be put inside. It's kind of easy at that point because then we just need somebody standing here to be able to load the machines, and the pieces and parts go in. They hit the go button when it comes out. They've got all their measuring tools to make sure it is built exactly like the plans.
So this would be like if I was buying a car and I went to Detroit and I said, okay, I'm going to watch my car go down the assembly line and you're going to make my car for me.
Exactly.
So when you're building these helicopters, I can customize the color, what I want it to look like, and I can actually watch you put it together from the beginning.
Yep, exactly. And it's another thing we can have, and we offer that to anybody that wants. If you're in town and you want to see, or even come here and pull your own parts for your kit, you want to build your kit, exactly that same thing. So we'll allow you to do that.
Kurt, you mentioned 3D a minute ago. 3D printers.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything in that for you?
You know, that's a thing that has taken a huge plummet in price. We do every now and then send stuff out to get printed just so we can see it, because it's a lot of design time to be able to cut the material, where it takes them 3 to 4 hours. They'll print it out. We'll have a working model that we can bolt on. The price has dropped so drastically on them. We are definitely looking into that. It is a really cool feature.
Let me ask you this: if you were a farmer and you invested heavily in one of these with a really good HD camera, could that farmer put his goggles on, launch that helicopter, and go out and check on his cattle?
You absolutely could. We have two people that do that.
Really?
Yep. Over Missoula, and then I think the other one's up in a Flathead area, and he does just that. He wants to go check his cows, so he'll go up and he'll be looking around, because it saves him hours. Now, one of them's doing helicopter, the other one's doing a multi-rotor. The other part to that is they can put what's called a near-infrared camera on that same craft, and they can see how their crops are doing. So just by flying overhead, they can see if they've got enough moisture, too much moisture. They can see how their fertilizer base is doing. They can tell if they have weeds, so that they can, with the advent of all the computerized combines and seeders,
you would have thought
and all
old
that.
McDonald was sitting at home doing
exactly.
checking on his cows.
Yeah, exactly.
Kurt, any interest from like the local police department?
Yes, lots of interest. With the thing that holds that down a little bit is there has been no solid ruling yet on the FAA, so everyone's a little bit worried, I guess is a good word for it, of what the outcome's going to be. In Montana right now, they did pass a law on the government side that it is okay to use it. You can't use them for surveillance, but you can use them for intelligence gathering. We are doing a system right now for one of the sheriff's departments for a search and rescue. There's a thermal camera on there, so somebody's lost out in the woods or something, you can spot them instantly. It's a pretty cool setup.
Well, I want to see some of these things fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so why don't we do that when we come right back? Okay, so what are we getting ready to see here, Kurt?
This is a miniature aircraft, 700E. It is an electric model. It's definitely the most popular model that's out right now. Nice part about it, plug and play, gobs of power. You're about to see it is a phenomenal machine.
How much do these go for?
These go anywhere from probably $2,000 to $3,000, depending.
The one we saw in the store?
This is the one in the store, yeah. Depending on how the electronics that are put in it. This one, Taylor has this one outfitted very, very nicely. He's got a lot of different features on it, so if he was to get in trouble, it's got a thing called a bailout feature. So if he's upside down and it was doing something he didn't like, he can flip the switch and it comes right back over.
Oh my God.
Now, how long does it take to learn to fly like that?
Taylor's been flying about 2 years. He did it the right way. He started off with some small models and worked his way up. I think that's why he's so proficient on it. He's just taken the steps required to do it.
Sure. So in reality, if you're going to get into this, you really need to start with that $80 one.
You do. You really should. Or the simulator you guys were messing around with before. It's you put a lot of time on the simulator, and you can get to this pretty quick.
Kurt, what kind of impact does wind have when it comes to flying these things?
You know, on these big ones, it's not. I mean, as long as you can stand up, it's going to be okay. But as they start getting smaller and smaller, it definitely does. It wants to push them around quite
What
a
about
bit.
Temperature?
Temperature doesn't matter. The human's the weak link in it. As long as you keep your batteries warm, everything's good to go.
And you said that even now they have equipment where you can put your hands inside of a worm.
Yeah, exactly. Put your hands inside of a little hot box and have your little hand warmers in there, and there's really nothing that's going to stop you.
This is doing such bizarre moves. Can a real helicopter do this stuff?
They can. I mean, there's the Red Bull heli that can do stuff, but these are kind of what are called a high G maneuver. The Red Bull, you'll see it doing loops and rolls, but you'll see they're really slow just so that it's not pulling a bunch of G's on the blades and having the blades hit the boom and causing mayhem.
Now, see, I could totally see competitions going on with this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
You know?
There is competitions all over the world. There is actually a lot of pilots that this is their full-time job. They just go around promoting a model, and they're paid handsomely to do it.
Yeah. How fast can it fly?
Actually, on this one will probably get up to 80, 90 miles.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. The record is actually, I think it's up to 130 miles an hour. Yeah, so they are, and you can see here, he's going to do a couple high-speed passes here, so they are,
Wow.
It does get up and boogie. It covers some ground in a hurry.
Now, he can control this as far as his eye can see?
Exactly, yep. The radios have about a mile range to them, but they get out there so far you can't see them, and at that point you're guessing, and there's no safety in that, so you really don't want to do that.
Have you heard of someone getting, say, a model like this one and losing it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it sucks. It's happened to, I don't want to say all of us, but a lot of us. Because you're relying on an RF link between the two, and if that goes away or if there's too much interference, the interference is going to win. And you always want to fly in a big safe zone. You can see here we're around where there's no, buildings are way off to the side. You don't want to be flying over the top of people. You just, with this thing here, I mean, these blades the tips of the blades are spinning about 300 miles an hour. So
you could get.
They can cause some injury, but you play it safe. I mean, it's you get up to this stage and you kind of know what you need to do.
Now, is this a good size to put a camera on?
It is, absolutely. This thing could carry 10, 15 pounds, no problem.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, do we get to see the Taylor take off?
Yeah. How about we see the patented Taylor takeoff here? Let's bring this thing in. Levi, when you film this, don't zoom in on him because he's going to disappear in a hurry. So he'll be right side and he's in and out. So be ready for that. And just to show off, he's going to do a little nose in action here. And bye-bye.
Boy, that'd be awesome if there was a camera on it to see what that looked like.
Yeah, it's very dizzying to watch footage from a 3D helicopter.
I can see what you're saying, where if you were flying one of these looking at a monitor, and the helicopters guys say it's as close to flying as you can get, you can see where you get dizzy.
Yeah, it makes you get a little bit queasy for sure.
I didn't know that helicopters could fly at any speed backwards.
Yes, that's the neat part about a helicopter. It doesn't care what direction it's going.
Yeah.
It'll fly any direction, no matter the speed. It can be flying while the tail is spinning around, which is called a pirouette, like he's doing there.
Yeah.
It doesn't care. That's the cool part about it.
Taylor, have you ever lost one?
No, well, like the little ones, I've been flying them and there's been a little bit of a breeze and it slowly gets further and further away and I'm fighting, trying to get it back to me, and finally I just give up. I cut the power and walk over a couple parking lots and pick it up. So, but I've never actually lost one.
Yeah, are you going to be comfortable with doing an auto rotation?
Sure.
Okay. What he's going to do now is he's going to take the helicopter up in the air and he's going to remove the engine power. So he's going to shut the motor down, and it's going to come down on stored energy here. So you can see it. So the motor is out of the equation now. So all it's doing now is coasting in, and he's using the. There you go, brought her in auto.
Nice.
Yes,
Very nice.
yes.
Very nice.
Tell you what, it was great to come over and check your business out.
My pleasure. Thank you guys.
meeting you.
It's cool that we have
very
something like
much.
this in Billings.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
All right. Hey everybody, we'll be right back. Well, Chris Byers-Taylor, who's doing the flying today, makes it look so easy. You know?
He's a pretty good pilot.
Yeah. That'd be fun to be on the helicopter with him, wouldn't it?
Well, it sure would, and what a great hobby.
Yeah.
It just looks like so much fun.
Of course, if it was a real helicopter, we'd be puking our guts out right
Absolutely,
now.
we would, yeah. I'm almost sick looking at that upside down.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you back here again next Sunday. In the meantime, safe flying, everyone.
Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris is a news presentation of KULR 8. If you would like more information or to comment on today's program, write to Sunday Roundtable, care of KULR 8, 2045 Overland Avenue, Billings, Montana, 59102.